Welcome to Fresh Talk News Channel. Today, we're uncovering a shocking story from Oregon, one that exposes a growing problem with how your laws are being made. Over the past decade, Oregon lawmakers have quietly adopted a controversial tactic, one that risks shutting the public out of important decisions. It's a practice that has sparked outrage and raised serious questions about transparency and accountability in government. So, what exactly is happening? Let's take you straight to the heart of the issue. On April 1st, Oregon lawmakers gathered for what seemed like a routine meeting of the Senate Judiciary Committee. On the agenda was Senate Bill 469, a bill that, at first glance, appeared simple and harmless. Just 8 lines of text, instructing the state's parole board to study parole laws and report back in 2026. Nothing alarming, right? But as the meeting got underway, a different story began to unfold. Testimonies started coming in, and it became clear that something far more significant was happening behind the scenes. Lawmakers weren't just studying parole laws, they were proposing a sweeping change to the state's process for granting parole to convicted murderers. But here's the catch: this new version of the bill didn't actually exist yet. It was still being drafted by legislative attorneys and wouldn't be ready until a day after the committee's only public hearing on the matter. In other words, the public was being asked to weigh in on a bill they hadn't even seen. For those who opposed the change, this was a nightmare. They scrambled to understand the proposal, to organize a response, to make their voices heard, but they were already at a disadvantage, and just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. The very next day, April 2nd, another committee did the exact same thing. This time, it was a House committee considering what seemed like another harmless, study bill. But when the hearing began, it was revealed that they were actually discussing changes to how state liquor stores are regulated. Once again, the public was kept in the dark. No one knew what was really being proposed until after the hearing. The one and only chance for people to testify was already over. These are not isolated incidents. In fact, they're part of a growing trend in Oregon state legislature, a trend fueled by a little-known tool known as the Placeholder bill. So, what are placeholder bills, and why are they so controversial? Think of them as legislative blank checks. They start as vague, empty proposals, and then, at any moment, they can be completely transformed into something entirely different. And it's happening more and more often. Back in 2015, fewer than 40 placeholder bills were introduced in Oregon's legislative session. But this year, there are over 615 of them, a massive increase of more than 1,500%. This explosion has led to a flood of bills, with many changing at the last minute, leaving the public, and sometimes even lawmakers, scrambling to keep up. For ordinary Oregonians, this means critical decisions that affect their lives are being made without their knowledge or input. It's a situation that leaves citizens feeling powerless and blindsided. Take Derek LeBlanc, a firearms instructor from Eugene. He's been advocating on gun issues in Oregon for years, but even he has become disillusioned with the process. They do it to keep us off balance, to keep us in the dark, he says. For him and others, it's not just frustrating, it's a betrayal of the democratic process. But why are lawmakers using these placeholder bills so often? It all comes down to convenience, and, some would say, power. These bills are like Swiss Army knives for legislators. They can be transformed into anything at a moment's notice, making them a powerful tool for those who know how to use them. Senator Floyd Prozanski, a Democrat from Eugene, is one of the most frequent users of placeholder bills. He often requests dozens of them before a legislative session even begins. He says they're necessary because unexpected issues can arise, and lawmakers need to be ready. But even Prozanski admits that this year, the use of placeholders has gone too far. Consider Senate Bill 469 again. What began as a basic study of parole laws suddenly became a full-scale proposal to change how convicted murderers can seek parole, all without the public knowing until it was almost too late. Critics argue that this is not just a problem, it's a crisis of transparency. Kate Titus, executive director of the good government group Common Cause Oregon, put it plainly: legislators shouldn't be allowed to quietly gut and stuff bills, evading full public scrutiny. But the problem goes even deeper. With more than 3,300 bills introduced this year, including over 600 placeholders, the legislative process has become chaotic. Lawmakers are rushing through bills. Public testimony is being cut short. And the people of Oregon are being left in the dark. Just imagine, you take time off work, you travel to the state capitol, you wait hours to testify on a bill, only to find out that the bill you came to speak about has been completely changed without warning. For many Oregonians, this isn't just a bad experience, it's a sign that something has gone terribly wrong. But is there any hope for change? Some lawmakers think so. House Speaker Julie Fahey has introduced a bill to limit the number of bills each lawmaker can file in a session. Her goal is to reduce the chaos and ensure that each bill gets the public attention it deserves. But even this proposal is facing pushback. Critics say it could simply give more power to party leaders who decide which bills move forward. So, the big question is, will Oregon's lawmakers finally rein in this runaway process? Or will they continue to rely on secretive, last-minute changes that shut the public out? One thing is certain, this is a story that isn't going away anytime soon. We'll be following it closely, and we'll make sure you stay informed. Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News Channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more news and updates.